All right. We're ready to get started on the demo day. Quiet down. All right. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Zero2One Summer 2021 demo day. And we're finally happy to see you here in person for our first in-person demo day. Ronnie, could you please? All right. Okay, guys. So before we get started, we want to talk a little bit about what exactly Zero2One is. So this is what we're here all here for today. Zero2One. Zero2One is an incubator for early stage student ventures run by students and for students. Essentially, we create a supportive community for student entrepreneurs, and we're registered an organization at UIUC, obviously, and we're also registered 501c for nonprofit. And Zero2One, what we focus on doing is essentially investing in the person, not the idea. And what we focus on doing is essentially investing in the person, making sure that they have all the basic skills an entrepreneur would have, and throughout the process, developing an idea that will eventually become a fully sustainable, self-sustainable venture. So this is a crucial part of that process. Demo Day, Zero2One's flagship event, semi-annual. And what we do in Demo Day is essentially it's a formal pitching event where all the vendors that have gone through our previous cohort will come and pitch about their ideas and their ventures, starting from their teams, their essential core values and ideas, as well as the funding and their prospective goals. And through the course of Demo Day, we'll essentially be offering prizes to the top ventures that made outstanding progress in the semester. And for today, we actually have our judges right up in front, as well as our Zero2One advisors, mentors, and professors and sponsors that we'll shortly talk about. And before we get started, we'd like to thank the student founders for working incredibly hard over the pandemic online, and essentially making all of this a reality. We'd be nothing without you guys. So thank you, student founders, for being here today, and for those of us who are playing online. So quick introduction of the fall 2021 Demo Day judges, starting with Alan Singleton. So Alan Singleton is an entrepreneur in residence, entrepreneur, and also the founder of Singleton Law Firm. And moving on to Professor Ryan Lilly, who is adjunct associate professor and entrepreneur in residence at TC. And next we have Valerie Rokatinsky, as well, who is the associate director for entrepreneurial education at the Origin Ventures Academy at Nice. And finally, we have Alex Gorsuch, who is the co-founder, engineer, as well as mentor for Ag, Defense, and And so this looks like a rather intense itinerary, but it will be split. We'll have intermissions in between. Starting on, we just had our information session for those who were here for it, and at the end at around 4:30, we were slightly late, but nonetheless, we started with the introduction, which we just completed. Following this, we'll have our venture consultants will be pitching. Venture consultants have essentially been through, some of them have been through the iVenture Accelerator, some of them have already started their idea for a long time, some of them have been doing there as well. And now moving on to the VDs, after a short intermission, we'll have the VDs who have been with us through the summer 2021 cohort, as well as specific VD who has been with us from the spring cohort as well. And finally, after that, we'll have the intermission where it will be deliberating. We'll have free food. We'll be moving outside. We'll have networking activity, and the award ceremony will begin. And with the conclusion of the award ceremony, we'll fully transition to networking activity. So we'd like to have a quick word from Nick, who is essentially representing C% for Design, who is the sponsor today.
Is this my mic?
Yes.
All right. Hopefully you can hear me pretty well. So yeah, thank you for coming, everybody. Welcome to SCD. So as you mentioned, my name is Nick. I'm Nick Puttycombe, the Associate Director of Operations and Experience here at C% for Design. And yeah, I just encourage everybody to come and check out the space. We are officially open now. This is our first semester on campus, and we've got all kinds of workspaces available for you, and meeting and event spaces like you're in here today. So I encourage you to, again, while you're here today and here for this event, walk around, take a look at all these different things. We've also got like an FAQ board just outside over here that if you have any questions about what we're up to and what you can do here, what to expect out of SCD, we've got a lot of those answered out there. And then, of course, we've got our website, designcenter.illinois.edu, which you can check out if you need more information about the center, or there's also a reservation form if you want to request a space for another event or activity or a class or a meeting or any of those kind of things are happening here, we wanted to host here. So yeah, so just, a lot of more things that will be coming throughout the semester. We've just opened up for classes and basic, events and things like this, but our workshop is still coming. Our media spaces are coming. We have an equipment checkout space downstairs. It'll have all kinds of things you can use in the building. Everything, including our Post-it notes and whiteboard markers that you can see all over the place. We will make sure are plenty stocked for you. Anytime you got to come here and do a little work, whether you're studying alone or working with a big project team, hopefully we've got a space for you. So again, welcome to SCD. Come check it out, and thank you for coming, and I'll pass it back.
Next, we have Representative EC. Up the stage. Rashi?
Yeah.
It's nice to have you here.
So, hi everyone, my name is Rashi and I'm a marketing intern at the TEC. And essentially what the TEC does is it helps students develop an entrepreneurial mindset through a plethora of different reasons. So we have classes, we have new mentor challenges, we have entrepreneurship advising, we have all sorts of resources for students out there. So just a quick plug on some events. So we have our innovation expo coming up this Wednesday from 11 to 1 at ISR. And that is essentially like an entrepreneurship collaborative of sorts. And we are also currently recruiting for our student advisory board, which helps essentially shape the entrepreneurial ecosystem here by providing feedback and giving suggestions and development. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashi. So definitely check them out. Okay, so without further ado, we'll move on to the first group, our venture consultants. Our first venture consultant today will be Delivery Innovations LLC.
Okay, Tay, you can control the screen now.
Hi. Oh. Okay, awesome. Sorry, give me 1 second. All right. So, hey guys, my name is Tay, and I actually had the honor to be a VC for this cohort, and I'm also the founder of Galileo Innovations, also known as GI. All right, so let me introduce you to Mike. He is a Floridian construction worker who works very long hours. Ooh.
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay, give me a second.
Am I good to continue? Awesome. Okay, so let me introduce you to Mike. He is a Floridian construction worker who works very long hours underneath the sun every single day to make sure he can provide for his family. Due to recent record high temperatures, he's been suffering from heat stress on a daily basis. And with a lack of modernized PPE to address the issue, there isn't much to prevent him from having a serious injury or long-term secondary illnesses. But unfortunately, he's not the only one. He's not the only one suffering from these injuries. In fact, the problem is becoming more widespread with an emphasis on industrial essential workers, first responders, and military members. As an initial market, we will be focusing on just the labor workers, starting with the construction industry, because out of the 6.5 million construction workers nationally, over 1/3 of them suffer from serious heat stress risk on a nearly daily basis. This summer has raised stakes for many companies, especially in areas that aren't used to such severe heat. The Midwest got a brutal reality check that has motivated many firms to not only address the issue, but also become proactive. Currently, heat-related injuries and illnesses cause 702 deaths and 65,000 hospitalizations every single year, with over 90% of that occurring during peak summer months. What's scarier is that these numbers are expected to get significantly worse within the next few years. The methodology of how heat stresses deal with an industry is extremely complicated and ineffective, as you can see. But even after having so many preventative methods, such as changing shifts, requiring more breaks, increasing safety supervisors on shift, increasing water intake, etc., one injury can cost around $80,000. And this is just starting numbers. What's worse is that our partner firms are very nervous about the upward trends that are expected to just increase every single year. And so this is where we come in. CalGear is an adjustable two-piece thermoelectric device that targets spinal and nerval heat points. The proposed thermal regulatory control system is completely wearable, with a projected weight of less than 3.5 kilograms, has embedded biometric sensors, and can run for 8 to 12 hours without charge, a claim our competitors just can't make. Currently, there is no uniform integrated industry options available that prioritize both user comfort and target performance. While the technology is unique, the concept is very simple. We have embedded biometric sensors in the front of the device that automatically run upon initial wear, calibrating the user's neutral values, and then customizes the cooling technology on the back of the device. But what gets interesting is actually the software. Not only do we provide a mission control app similar to a fitness tracking app of sorts, where the following listed values will be monitored, but we also use AI and machine learning to predict the exact moment of when heat stress will turn into a heat injury. The provided qualitative data can actually act as both active monitoring and also preventative measure, reducing the need of safety supervisors on chip and decreasing the chances of heat symptoms going unnoticed. In terms of competition, our competitors are divided into two main categories. One is basic products that are popular across industries, such as the following solutions. These are often cheap, non-innovative, ineffective over standard shift durations, and also have a lower heat capacity. Some of them are also not very portable, making them very unrealistic for labor industries. On the other hand, we do have more industry-specific options that range in prices, but highly effective models such as the RTX Core Control Cooling Glove are not only out of budget for many firms, but they're also not wearable. They target more post-treatment solutions that are very popular in industry, but not as effective as preventative measures that can actually plateau internal core temperatures at a lower value, which is what we're trying to do. Now, our prices are based on what the industry needs. Our wholesale prices for more southern states, such as Florida, Texas, California, even, starts at $700 per device. In comparison, from our countless customer discovery, including our industry partners, we've realized that the Midwest wants more of a rental option. They want it at $25 per device and being able to rent it out for the duration of the summer months or during extremely peak weeks. Oops, sorry. There we go. Current traction, we have gotten a lot of traction over the 8 months that we've been in business. We've been a part of Mass Challenge, iVentures, as well as a few other programs, which we have won. We also do have a lot of pilots in place, and that is our big ask for today. If you guys are interested in joining the team, we would love to have you a part of our upcoming pilots, as well as we are currently raising a round to be able to meet those pilot needs and finish your MVP development. Thank you so much again for this opportunity, and I look forward to meeting a few of you.
3 minutes for Q&A from the judges.
Alrighty, I'll start, I guess. I don't know if you're waiting, people just jump in,
Yes.
whatever. Tay, I know your background, it's very impressive. I'd love for you to talk about that because I don't care about ideas, I care about people. Founders drive businesses, so brag on your background for a bit.
Of course. So a little about my background. I have a past in biomedical devices. My first startup I started at the age of 19, in which we raised $1.6 million. That was a class 2 FDA device. Since then, I have pivoted. I've done consulting work, internships in a range of industries where they focus on hardware development, as well as associated applying for cyber grants and stuff like that. So yeah, I do. Since I can remember, hardware has been a passion for me, and I try to arrange my career to follow that. And right now that's through GI.
How far are you with the, what I assume is a prototype of the device?
I'm so sorry, the sound is a little off, but I think you asked about prototype
How far are
development.
you with the prototype or with the device itself? How
Yeah.
far-
So we do have a late stage prototype already in place. We're actually about to finalize a deal with one of our industry partners that they want to finance the whole finalize MVP development stage and also bring it to market. So we're trying to work out those deals, but basically what it would mean is that we would need manufacturable ready products by November. And then we would be in market for initial testing with selected companies starting January.
In terms of intellectual property rights, do you have freedom to operate, do you believe? And or is there one competitor who has a whole portfolio of patents that would be a problem for you? And have you taken any proactive measures in terms of filing provisional patent applications?
I'm so sorry, there's an issue with the sound, but from what I picked up, yes, we are in the process of filing a provisional. We are currently waiting to file just because. Sorry. Oh, we are in the process of filing provisional. We are waiting 2 months because there are some design changes that we're expecting to make, and it just doesn't make sense to go through that process twice. But yes, we will be filing a provisional by November, and then eventually filing the associated patents within the next year. In terms of current pilot IP violations, there aren't any. We do seem to have some IP claims, which we're hoping to go forward with. Most importantly, we're in the process of creating a novel TEC design in partnership with UC San Diego as well as UIUC. So we're super excited about that and hoping to get patents on that as well.
Funding path look like that.
Sorry, I think that didn't pick up.
On the SBIR and STTR front, where do you see your path forward?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we've actually applied to 3 SBIRs. We are looking to, if UIUC is interested, applying for an associated STTR, depending on the exact lab that we decide to work with. But we have applied to SBIRs. We are also looking forward to applying to this upcoming round of SBIRs, and we're waiting to hear back from an AFWORKS grant that is still, we haven't heard back from the last round, and we will be applying to another AFWORKS this upcoming round.
X-Tech Search 6 from the Army Research Lab.
I'm so sorry, could you repeat that question?
Are you doing X-Tech Search 6 from the Army Research Lab?
We are not. We haven't looked into that opportunity just yet, mainly because we wanted to have some sort of data prior to reaching out to the Army laboratories, just because they do tend to take more later stage devices.
Okay, thank you, judges. Thank you, Tay. Next up, Camu from Siddharth.
Is that going?
Yep, it's okay.
Yeah, I'll talk loud. Yeah, it's a little second. Can I just talk loud?
Sure.
All right, perfect, thank you. Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, yeah. Wait, how do I click? Just here? Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Siddharth Gujla. I'm one of the co-founders of Camu, where we have a mission to help people with limited motor skills have simple, efficient, and natural interactions with technology. So for some background, right now there exists extremely unequal access to the digital world. For most people, using a computer means using a computer mouse, using a computer keyboard to interface to devices. Pretty seamless, efficient, allows us to access our jobs, resources, services that exist online. For people with upper limb impairments, this is not the case. Using a computer keyboard and mouse is extremely difficult. It requires a large amount of fine motor skill, physical movement, and it's just fatiguing to do your job, access various things online. And there are technologies out there right now that allow for interaction. However, they're very fatiguing, they're expensive, and they're not very intuitive with the forms of physical input that they require. So one of the examples is this one. It's called Quad Stick. It's a mouth joystick control, and it uses a sip and puff technology. Basically, the user moves their head around to control cursor movement, and then sips and puffs to basically control click function. This is one of the most popular ones out there from my customer interviews that I've learned about.
As you can see, there are many issues with it. One being that it's extremely bulky, it's expensive, once you use it, you can interact efficiently. However, there's a really high learning curve to using it. It's really geared towards kind of gaming enthusiasts, and given that the market is rather young and maturing, just given that the need for computer has increased exponentially in the past 5 to 10 years, especially in the past year and a half when most of our jobs, all sorts of resources and services have moved online, there's a large and increasing need for this. So to get understanding for how big this problem is, there are about 15 million Americans that suffer from some sort of disability that makes it difficult to use a computer. This only translates to about a $200 million market for computer accessibility devices, though. This is because a large number of people in this population just do not engage with it because of the high learning curves, the expensive prices, and generally tend to rely on some of the more existing auxiliary features on simple like iPhones, iPads, but those aren't necessarily, they don't give them the access to like jobs and resources to a grand scale that a mouse and keyboard would give most people. So over the past year and a half, I've had the chance to conduct dozens of interviews with people with usually with disabilities, occupational therapists, individuals within special education departments in both schools and colleges, as well as computer accessibility specialists in the Champaign-Urbana community and around the Midwest. And through frequent calls, frequent kind of updates with my community, I've been able to develop the Camu Invictus, which is an eye tracking wearable that tracks both your eyes and your head. And this works in conjunction with a joystick to give a very accurate, efficient, and non-fatiguing way to use a computer. Now, how this works is, so once the user gets our device, once it's on, you're able to control cursor movement simply by looking around a screen. Our device accounts for head variability, so you're allowed to move your head around. That does not mess the calibration. And then you're able to use a joystick to control click function. Now, the joystick is one of our customizable aspects where if you move it to the left, you can control left click, you can move it up and down to scroll. Hotkey functions are programmed into the diagonal positions. And this can be controlled with a hand, a finger, a limb. It can be controlled with a foot. The idea being customizability is a huge aspect, a huge part of accessibility, and we want to leave that part up to the user. The eye tracking portion, we're moving our eyes around as we are using a computer. So trying to capture that rather than requiring some sort of secondary physical input was part of our goal in making this a more natural experience. So just some background, we have a target price of $750. This is about half the price of most devices on the market. A lot of them cost north of $1,500, and insurance does not cover a lot of these. Our cost of production right now is $300. We're seeking to bring both of these down. And we have an estimated market capture of about $6.2 million. Now, this is based on a 20% market capture of a very niche market, eye tracking for computer accessibility. There are only about 2 to 3 other genuine players in this space. It's growing. It's very small right now. But yeah, that's kind of our plan. We plan on selling direct to the customer. We've been working closely with Carl Hospital, so a lot of occupational therapists there, the disability resource centers on campus, as well as similar institutions kind of around the Midwest for me back home. We went through iVenture Accelerator, and we have a talented team of engineers, designers, UX specialists who over the past year and a half, we've done customer discovery. We've finished building a product, and this fall, we're going to be starting user testing with a group of individuals of varying age range, disabilities in the Champaign-Urbana community, which we're really excited about. So yeah, thank you. Check us out. Yeah.
Your sale price is too low. You've got your production cost of 300.
Mm-hmm.
Your sale price could easily be 2,500. And don't price it based on what it costs you to make it.
Okay.
Don't do that. Don't think about I paid for it. That has a lot of value.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know what the competitive landscape looks like, but if I needed a pair of eyeglasses and it weren't a competitive market, I would pay $10,000 for those eyeglasses.
Mhm.
You right? Because of the value they provide.
Yeah.
Okay. So without knowing the competitive landscape, I can't say exactly where this price point is, but certainly if you're making it for 300, you're gonna have to sell it for significantly more than that. So that's all.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think significantly more is good.
Mhm.
It'll have a perceived value based on the cost.
Okay.
Or the sale price. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What exactly does your product do that a product on the marketplace out there doesn't already do?
So kind of the big thing. So at a core, we're trying to replace mouse functionality in an accessible way. And a lot of the devices, no device in the market does eye tracking to control mouse function as accurately as we do or as efficiently as we do. Most of the eye tracking technologies that are out there right now are more accessory features specifically for gaming as an overlay, but aren't used as the sole control tech to do mouse function. And the goal of that being, we want it to be a compact device that is very accessible, affordable, and then also does genuinely replace mouse functionality without reducing efficiency.
You get away from the mouthpiece and you're precise enough with eye control that you can.
Yeah, yes. So kind of the industry standard for eye tracking accuracy is 0.5 degrees. But with current technologies, they kind of get messed up with calibration if you move your head. And that's one thing that we're eliminating is allowing for head variability, because that is a natural thing that humans do. And we're maintaining a calibration number because of it. Yeah.
So that was a lovely explanation. That should have been in there.
Okay.
It should have been like 7 words, but it should have been in there.
Okay.
How did you get your cost of customer acquisition?
The customer acquisition cost.
Yeah.
Let's see. That was a very simple, sort of rudimentary. Since most of our kind of customer acquisition has been through just reaching out to organizations, it's very small scale. Kind of our product rollout plan, even as of now, the way we're developing and the way we're building is like kind of based on like local areas. It's more so just we're gonna like start in the Champaign-Urbana community and then sort of slowly kind of move out. It's not going to be kind of like a nationwide launch of any sort. Yeah.
I'm afraid that's time's up for questions. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Siddharth. Let's give it up one more time, Siddharth.
Yeah, sure.
Can everyone hear me
Alright.
properly?
Yep. Well, now you can share screen now.
All right, perfect. Am I audible and is my screen visible?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Manav. I'm a junior studying computer engineering at UIUC, and I'm going to be pitching my startup Great Kia today. I co-founded Great Kia with my childhood best friends from USC and UC Berkeley, whom I've known for over 13 years. We started working on Great Kia a little over a year ago, and I'm really excited to talk about it today. We have an advisory board with 5 other notable members as well, including UC Berkeley CTO Bill Allison and the Associate Vice President for Strategic Innovation at UIF, Catherine Bloom, who are guiding us in our journey. So over the summer, we spoke to over 150 students that were experiencing some form of food or housing insecurity. Amir was one of them. Amir is a first-generation low-income student whose parents immigrated from Jordan. His dad is a taxi driver and his living conditions at home aren't ideal. Despite this, Amir has persevered. Amir has shown academic excellence and even made it to the dean's list last semester. Amir aspires to be a lawyer, but has been struggling to pay for college through his own pocket, as his parents are not able to support him. Due to these financial difficulties, he can't devote his complete concentration to studies and has a lot more on his plate than an average college student. We wanted to help students like Amir succeed. Having seen these issues firsthand drove us to find a solution for students like Amir. Great Kia's mission is to mentor students and reduce their financial stress due to tuition by enabling personalized and transparent alumni giving. Let's look at the larger problem across the US. Since 1978, the cost of studying in the US has jumped by 4 times, double the increase of the US's GDP per capita while accounting for inflation, making university just not as affordable as it used to be. This has led to almost 800,000 students dropping out of college every year due to financial stress itself. And furthermore, 56% of students experience some form of food and or housing insecurity. Another 2 million college students are struggling with homelessness as well. A total of $130 billion will be required to help these students on a yearly basis, excluding the scholarships and grants that they receive. There's a big problem on the alumni side as well. Out of 118 million alumni in the US, only about 13 million alumni are giving back as of today. Having spoken to over 500 alumni, we have realized that alumni want to give directly to students, and they don't currently receive constant updates regarding the utilization of funds. We realized that at least 10% of these alumni would give back if they knew which students they were helping. Of these 10 million target alumni, we believe that at least 90% of them would be willing to contribute around $500 on an annual basis, which would add up to $4.5 billion. We're focusing on this category of donors since even small ticket contributions can create a huge impact to these students in need. We will also cater to the remaining top 10% of alumni through our platform, amounting to a TAM of $59 billion from these 10 million alumni itself. So this is where Greakia comes in. Greakia solves both the student and alumni problem by providing a platform where alumni can personally mentor or contribute towards the tuition of students in need. We already have an MVP up and running through which alumni can choose these students based on details in the student profile, such as need level, merit level, major, etc., and can contribute on a monthly, semesterly, or one-time basis. They can also contribute to a general fund in case they want Greakia to choose a receiving student and will receive tax benefits regarding the same. Alumni will receive receipts and constant updates regarding the funds, and they'll be directly sent to the student's university account to ensure transparency. The students on the platform will be 100% verified through interviews and institutional documents, and each student pledges to come back as an alumni on the platform to donate at least the amount of money that they've received, continuing a chain of giving, multiplying the platform's benefit. Through our interactions with advancement officials across our 3 schools, we also realized that Greakia could work with them to solve problems relating to fundraising and alumni engagement at university level. We brainstormed with advancement to devise solutions for the same and realized that alumni could give to university current use fund through Greakia. They would help increase the contribution numbers at university while also increasing alumni engagement. Additionally, Greakia could majorly help with collecting student alumni data through these contributions. We're working with universities to build a robust system to ensure that we can help universities and throughout their system. We currently collect a 3% transaction fee on each contribution and aim to build a one-stop solution for alumni, students, and universities. We've received tremendous traction in the past year that we've been doing business. We received advice and signups on Greakia from over 500 alumni, including the co-founder of Tesla, chairman of Tata Companies, and I've funded 10% of students on our platform. We currently have a pilot program in progress with UIUC to develop a SaaS product for the advancement team. We're having similar conversations with USC and UC Berkeley to the same end goal. Thank you so much, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Can you share a little more about your conversations with university advancement teams and foundations? Are there things that they're concerned about, like whether they'll lose that connection with alums? And it sounds like you're trying to get it to count toward the general fund, but I'm just wondering if you're.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great question. And so we recently did get our first pilot program with the University of Illinois, and we're extremely excited about that. So just to talk a little bit about the partnership with University of Illinois in specific as well. Our main target market is to target alumni that want to give small ticket. So alumni who want to give less than $1,000 through our platform. Right now, the university really struggles with engaging these group of alumni. And we found a way to engage these alumni in a much more personal manner that the university was struggling to do. So our main target group is focusing on the alumni that currently aren't giving back to the university. So as our partnership with the university, they pretty much help us identify these group of alumni. We reach out to them and give them an alternative of using our platform. And this is pretty much how the partnership looks like.
So one thing that I was a little unclear on, it seemed to me when you talked about your song, that you were saying as the amount that would be donated, but then later you mentioned like a 3% transaction fee and like a subscription fee. Did I misunderstand, or did you only talk about your song in the context of how much would be donated from alumni?
Just to clarify on just how our business model looks like, there are two main ways that it works. One is a transaction fee, a small transaction fee that we take on our platform. And this is just for operating costs, where every alumni who comes onto our platform and contributes on the platform, we basically just take 3%. And as we partner with university as well, since we're engaging a lot of their alumni, we're working with them and we're helping them with whatever else their needs might be. For example, at the University of Illinois, we're also working with them to tag all of the scholarships and endowment funds that exist within the University of Illinois to make it a lot easier for alumni to search through them. And just part of all of that, we have a subscription fee that we charge universities, which should be somewhere around $1,500 a month. I hope that answers the question.
Transaction?
Sorry, do you mind repeating that?
Does the university make money off the transaction?
It depends on the transaction. So the way that it works is we have two options. If the alumni gives directly to a student, in that case, it goes directly to a student. But if the alumni decides to give to a more general scholarship fund, which is already existing at the university, or any of the other 4,000 scholarships that exist, it goes directly to the university. And in that case, they would use it up to their discretion.
That's all the time we have for Q&A. Thanks, Madhav. Let's give it up for Madhav. Next up is Nostalgia by Chaitanya.
Let me know when to start. Can I start?
Yep.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Chaitanya Gulati. I'm the founder of Nasadia. At Nasadia, we are building power systems to convert excess energy from power plants into profitable co-products, green hydrogen and oxygen. Almost $35 billion worth of energy generated by power plants is wasted by design. Power plants are required to continuously overproduce energy to match variable demand, but end up wasting money on excess energy disposal. In fact, the transition to variable sources like solar and wind energy is going to increase this overproduction problem by 150% in the next 5 years alone. Furthermore, even minor excess energy can cause massive brownouts and blackouts in the grid, which is why we have found that power plants are actively looking for solutions to it. Currently, power plants handle excess capacity in three big ways. One is they produce a lot of their own energy, pay another power plant to keep it, and ask them not to produce their own. Two, they shut down parts of their own capacity. Or three, they just burn a resistor. This makes the current solutions extremely expensive, not scalable, and harmful to the environment. Nasadia solves this problem of overgeneration at power plants by taking their excess capacity, a money-losing byproduct, and converting it into two money-making co-products, green hydrogen and oxygen. How we work with this is we take this excess capacity from a power plant, add value to it through this conversion, and these gases are then sold to petroleum refineries and hospitals respectively. At Nasadia, we have developed a high-pressure electrolysis system that makes it economic to do this conversion. We brought down the cost of production by a whopping 50%, making it cheaper, greener, and more efficient than the current hydrogen production methods. In our lab scale setup, we've also developed novel flow plate optimizations, which further improve our efficiencies, resulting in such cost reductions that we've talked about. We're currently in a prototype development phase where we've tested the proof of concept. We're on track to have the MVP ready by the end of this year. Our TAM is $35 billion, and our beachhead market of West Texas and California give us a sum of $10 billion. In our go-to-market, we are going to start with deployment and development in California specifically, because the cost of gray hydrogen is relatively higher there, making it easier for us to compete with them. For our business model, we are going to use a service-based business model where, as I mentioned before, we're taking the excess energy from power plants, convert it into green hydrogen and oxygen, and then sell it to these refineries and medical these hospitals for medical oxygen. While most clean tech startups are working in grids and batteries, you must be wondering why we're looking at refineries in the first place. It is important to realize that we're in this energy transition right now. And for this energy transition, it's going to take a couple decades. It makes it critical to decarbonize sectors like refineries, which are harder to decarbonize. For a go-to-market, we plan to partner with EPCs, which engineering, procurement, construction companies, to help with our product manufacturing and sales as well. To have this partnership, we plan to offer 35% of our operating profits to them in exchange for them covering 50% of the manufacturing cost of the machine alone. We beat the competition in key variables our customers care the most about. Our technological and business model development helps us bring the cost down by improving the efficiency. This cost reduction in green hydrogen is what really helps solve the energy problem, because the hydrogen needs to be cheap enough for the refinery to buy it, and that only happens when the cost is low enough. And that's what Nasadia helps to bring in. Our team has a wide range of experiences, ranging from working at major national labs to big energy companies. We also have people focused on energy policy, which is a critical element when it comes to any clean tech startup coming into being. Our mentors range from an oil and gas expert to a veteran clean tech entrepreneur with over 35 years of experience. She's the CEO of Onboard Dynamics, a gas compression company funded by the ARPA. This shows our development achievements since our inception. We recently competed in this, we were selected to compete in the semi-final round of the MIT Clean Energy Prize, and also won the Venture Well Phase 1 grant. We also completed the Venture Accelerator over the last year and are currently in the Houston's Rise Clean Tech Accelerator program, focused in the market we're working in. We've also begun conversations with early stage investors and commercial partners to discuss how to go about this deployment. I would love to take your questions now, and also to the wider audience. We are trying to grow the team with more engineering talent, so I'd love to talk to you as well about this later. Thank you.
Your job as an in-house engineer at a place where this is going to be installed. Tell me how that's going to be installed in a safe manner without interrupting the flow of a power plant that's very expensive to operate.
Definitely. Thank you for that. Actually, how we're going to go about this deployment is, and through our customer discovery, we found out because it's an early stage technology, power plants are not comfortable having like a whole new thing at their facility. However, who are more comfortable are the refineries, the people who buy the hydrogen. And they are so actively looking for a solution to it that they're more comfortable placing it in their capacity, in their huge land that normally a refinery owns for no extra cost. So how it would work is we'd set up there, but we'd have partnerships with a specific power plant to take capacity from them and produce it and get it to the refinery people. This also helps us further lower our cost compared to the competitors, because one of the key elements of a unit cost of hydrogen, or specifically green hydrogen, is storage and transportation. But being placed at the facility helps us further, bring that down and compete with people in a more effective way.
Are you familiar with the company Air Liquide?
Yes, they are one of our key competitors because they are the producers of gray hydrogen, the one that we're trying to replace.
Well, and oxygen.
And oxygen, essentially, yes. But the thing is,
Why do you work with them? I mean, if you've got a whiz-bang technology, it seems to me that the right move is to get with someone like that who's already, they're basically, I don't say they dominate the industry, but they're there, right? And it seems to me that's a natural fit.
Definitely. No, that's something we did explore, but what we found out is because they're heavily based in steam methane reforming, right? And the transition they've made to the green hydrogen sort of system is there are two kinds of technologies. You've got PEM and you've got AEM. We're focused on AEM, and Air Liquide has made its bet in PEM.
Okay.
The issue we found with that is we were initially, like when we started, we were a PEM company too. But as we looked at the numbers and did experiments, the key issue we found out there was with PEM, you've got rare earth metals involved. So the cost of that really shoots up. And talking to refineries, we found out they're not comfortable with that. So we made that shift along with other efficiency related reasons.
If I understood you correctly, PTCs are going to be your big
Yeah.
entry point.
They are going to be the partners whose help adds more credibility and also bandwidth to our operations. But in terms of deployment, it really just comes down to really good partnerships with the refinery. There's normally like a 1-year demo you need to run with them, after which they give you like a 15 to 20-year take or pay contract.
And if you had any conversations with them?
We've actually we're speaking to our key customers right now at Phillips 66 Rodeo Refinery, and it's through programs like iVenture and the Accelerator in Houston that we've been able to make that introductions.
That should be okay. That should be a big one.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, that's all the time we have for questions. Let's give it up for questions. Next up, we have You Change Scholars. And this is our last pitch of group 1 before we go into our sponsor pitches and our quick intermission with cookies sponsored by TEC.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenna. This is Talia. We are the co-founders of You Change Scholars. Melissa is a 17-year-old high school student senior who was born into an immigrant family and has no family member who has attended a college in the United States. As a first-generation student, the applications, essays, and many more other deadlines were very overwhelming. Unfortunately, Melissa is only one of many students who face these stressors when applying to colleges. Students, particularly from underrepresented backgrounds, face disparities in education, socioeconomic status, and systemic racism, which causes a struggle to find the right resources, leading them to feel insecure and stressed about the college application process. As we did our extensive research, we found out that 66% of the high school students worry that they won't get into the college of their choice, and 55% feel unprepared for the whole process, and 43% undermatched, in other words, end up attending colleges that are beneath them academically.
So this is where our organization, You Change Scholars, comes in. As a nonprofit, we believe that students from all backgrounds should be proportionally represented in American universities. Our solution is simple. Take Melissa. Once Melissa joined You Change Scholars back in October of 2020, she was paired with her mentor, Jenna, for one-on-one mentoring. Jenna was a guide for the whole college application process, and she provided consistent one-on-one meetings that were weekly, and she ultimately helped Melissa get into the college of her dreams. The value that we provide to our mentees, like Melissa, is decreased levels of stress and worry about the college application process and increased feelings of support, not just from their mentor, but also from You Change leadership. So as you can imagine, the college consulting competition space is huge in the United States, as 20 million students attend college every year. So what makes You Change Scholars different? Well, unlike local organizations such as our competition, Chicago Scholars, we are not limited to one region. We match mentors and mentees from all over the United States. In addition, like some of our competition, we offer flexible meeting schedules and times for our mentees so that they're able to balance college applications with schoolwork and other commitments that they have. We are also proud to be entirely free of cost for mentees and their families, unlike our competition, Ivy Coach. One unique aspect of our organization that none of our competition provides is that we match our mentees with their peers, college students who have recently been through the college application process themselves and who they can relate to. And lastly, like all of our competition, we provide a personalized mentoring approach that is tailored to each mentee's unique needs with that one-on-one mentoring.
Our current cohort consists of 20 mentors and 20 mentees. We created a rigorous curriculum and trained our mentors prior to their first meeting with their assigned mentee. Additionally, most of our mentors attend UIUC and UW-Madison, and majority of our mentees attend Wayne Tech High School. Additionally, 85% of our mentees are racial and ethnic minorities, and 60% are first-generation college students, and 50% are from low-income households. Sorry. Our impact so far has been very rewarding. For example, Melissa, our mentee, she got into a lot of colleges, including UIUC and the University of Michigan, which were her dream schools. And this fall, she started her college journey at U of I with a full ride scholarship. Looking toward the future, our number one goal is to develop a formal partnership with Lincoln High School, since most of our mentees currently attend the school. And also in November of 2021, we are planning to start our expansion to the East Coast, and in January of 2022 to the West Coast, since we have some new change team members who attend colleges in those regions. And in January and February of 2022, we plan on recruiting a total of 50 mentees and 50 mentors, and start our cohort in March of 2022.
Our You Change leadership team is made up of 3 driven, college-educated individuals who have come together to face our generation's #1 challenge. I specifically have expertise in leadership and mentoring, since I was involved in a Line I Mentor program for 4 years as a mentor and in a leadership role for 2 of those years. And all of us have faced obstacles while applying to college. For instance, Jenna was the first in her family to apply for and attend college in the United States. All 3 of us have come together for our shared passion of helping students, and we continue to work well together by placing an emphasis on team building and transparency. So our ask for today is, if you're interested in being a mentor for You Change Scholars, please contact us at this email, and thank you so much.
Talk a little bit more about your plans to scale. So talk about these other places where you go into the recruitment, and then also talk a little bit about your paths to sustainability and kind of maybe it's a free service. I'm assuming you want to keep it as a free service, but what are your thoughts about how you bring in resources to sustain this, especially as you're growing?
Yeah, so our plan to expand to the East Coast and West Coast comes from our goal of helping students across the whole country. So our head of research goes to Brown University currently on the East Coast. So he's going to be in charge of like expansion in the East Coast. And also our social media person is attending UCLA this fall, so she will be in charge of the West Coast expansion. So that way we're trying to split up leadership into like we're in the Midwest and East Coast and West Coast, and kind of take them in charge of recruiting mentors and just spreading the word in different regions across the country. In terms of our sustainability, we are working on making this more sustainable and less manual work for the leadership in terms of overseeing communication and making sure that mentors and mentees are meeting. So we're still in the process of working on that, but one of the thought process was coming up with like a guide for mentors and compile all the resources that we have made so far into one file and just distribute them to the mentors. And that way we don't have to go through all the trainings for each mentor, and that they just have this one guide like in their hands that they can refer to.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, we have all the resources, we just would have to compile them. And we've been kind of documenting everything so that we can pass it on to future leaders. And our idea is that we're identifying mentors who are interested in leadership roles, who have been going above and beyond, and getting them to kind of carry on You Change Scholars. And we already have like a few in mind. But yeah, thank you.
So will this be structured as a not-for-profit organization?
Yeah, currently we're a nonprofit organization.
And have you achieved tax exempt status yet?
Not yet, so that's also in the plan to apply for 501c.
All right, if there's no more questions, let's give it up one more time for You Change Scholars. So next, we have a quick word from our generous sponsors. But yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alan Singleton. I'm with Singleton Law Firm. My office is about 3/4 of a mile south of here in the UI Research Park. I work extensively on the legal aspects of forming business entities and corporation, address immigration law issues in the process of doing that. You start a company, so if you want to work for the company, you need to be legally able to work. There are pathways to do that, to help out with venture capital, investment funding, and also do patent, copyright, trademark, things of that nature. Occasionally, you get to work on an ethics, so that's kind of part of what I do out in the research part. Thanks for the opportunity to visit.
Thank you so much, Alan. And next we have our other sponsor from Valerie.
Hey, everybody, this was a great group. I'm so excited to see so many people coming out on the first week. And I want to say thanks to the whole Zero2One team. It's a pretty fantastic group of students. And I've been really happy to join them as the faculty. My day job is at Origin Interest Academy for Entrepreneurial Leadership. We're in East College Business. We're sort of the counterpart of Granger's PhD program. Kind of think of us as some other complementary programming. We do a lot with social impacts programming. Hopefully, some folks will join our own tech incubator. We're going to have two calls of both fall and spring programs for that, sort of expanding. We do a lot of inclusive entrepreneurship programs. We're looking at more in our women entrepreneurship program. We're doing more in the community, working with small business owners, BIPOC women, veterans, doing more partnership building. And so if you're interested in entrepreneurship, but you're not ready to start something yourself, but you want to support small business owners or entrepreneurs in the community, we have to do economic justice projects, distribute down to people to get feedbacks. And for about accelerators, so that's the active program, all these things that have been campus wide. And hopefully when we get to travel again, we'll be able to do more with our entrepreneurs without borders and our social innovation growth college. So we have a lot of short-term study abroad programs with the communities, and hopefully we'll get more of that. People just raise your hand. Are you planning on going to the Innovation Mexico on Wednesday? A few people. So I want to encourage more of you if you're interested. That would be a really great opportunity. A lot of people who talked today will be there. Will be a chance to get much more information about upcoming programs. I'll be there at the table, so hopefully folks will stop by. That's Wednesday, September 1st, 11 to 1. Yes, cool. So check it out, ISR, and thanks for coming.
All right, so now we'll, thank you so much, Valerie. And now we're going into a quick 10-minute intermission. So we have some cookies for you guys. We have some very exciting questions for you guys in the back if you want to go deliberate. And yeah, please be back here by 5:50 for our round 2 pitches.
Yeah, it's one for each. One for this group.
Okay. Well, there's always 3, 4, 5 children. Okay, myself. Well, myself. What I didn't like is now, like, it wasn't really the issue of the technology. It really is a lot of balance around. Just was too much.
Yeah, that's
Oh, right.
Everything good so far?
Yeah.
Wait, Elizabeth, where are you sharing? Where are your
Yeah, you
slides?
have to click on the camera.
Okay. I was scared for a second. I was like, holy shit. So is it just you pitching? Who else is pitching?
All the smart cohort. Oh, you mean for my cohort?
Yeah, no. I mean, like right now for the BDs, are all the slides? Okay,
So
great.
I just have to, and then is the sound up like in my video?
Good question. Dude, ooh. This is very fancy. Is your video linked here?
Yeah, it should be. There's that one doesn't have any sound, and then there's one with sound later on.
Just press the left one.
So, I wish I would have taken a shot or something. Let's do that.
Wait, that's a, wait, is this one?
I'm afraid.
Yeah. Is it?
Trying third power beauty
Perfect.
shampoo cubes for the first time.
Yeah, works perfect. Yeah, that's good. Dude, when they start speaking, I'm going to start moving those whiteboards out. I want to start writing about the ventures, right?
Yeah, we got it.
All the DVDs, right? Or we write about DVDs. All of them. Well, we don't have whiteboards for that, right? 2,000, so 5 bucks. Okay. Okay, we can write that. Take a picture. Okay, how do you write about these? Just write the. Okay, make sure it's. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey.
Alright. I just wanted to ask, I missed like the first part of this. And, I saw you guys were possibly recording. I want to know, is that recording going to be like posted somewhere?
Yeah. We're gonna put it on our YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we send that out.
Okay. Okay. Just like basically all of the first half.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool.
Where is that?
I like keep that.
This is wrong. Because that is part of the process. It's a good problem. You know, it's worse out. It's something that. a lot. Oh, extra sentence. Well, they need it. They need it. This is this is main.
All right, everyone. So getting back to our round two pitches, and this is by group two. Group two are our venture directors. These are people who have passed through our summer cohort, our fall 2020 cohort. And yeah, first we have Elizabeth with Third Power Beauty.
Hi, everyone. Like Peter said, my name is Elizabeth, and I'm the founder of Third Power Beauty. Plastic is a huge environmental problem. Not only does it require large amounts of water and fossil fuels to produce, but once created, it takes thousands of years to break down naturally in the environment. Shockingly, only 9% of plastic ever produced has been recycled. The sad truth is that the majority of the plastic we use ends up in our landfills and oceans. Recycling is not a good enough solution to our plastic problem. We need to stop using single-use plastics. One major source of plastic waste is our bathroom products. Shampoo, conditioner, and body wash bottles in particular are difficult to clean and recycle properly due to the leftover product that gets stuck inside the bottle. And that is why over 552 million plastic shampoo bottles enter landfills every single year. I invented a solution, Shampoo Cubed. Shampoo Cubed is shampoo on bottle. While traditional liquid products are up to 90% water, Shampoo Cubed is a waterless shampoo concentrate. Not only does Shampoo Cubed save water, but it also weighs less, so it requires less carbon to ship. And with no SLS, silicones, parabens, or soap, it's as great for your hair as it is for the planet. How it works is you simply crush it in your wet hands, rub your hands together, and then it forms a lather. So our packaging is 100% plastic free. The shampoo cubes come in a fully recyclable cardboard box and are shipped in a 100% compostable mailer. And right now I'm selling through my website. It's thirdpowerbeauty.com. And so as for the target market, the main market here is people who are living zero waste lifestyles, because these are the people who are actively seeking out plastic-free alternatives to everyday products. And then beyond that, just eco-conscious consumers in general, people who care about the planet. And then also hotels and travelers, because this is super convenient for travel, much better than those little bottles. So as for progress, I got this idea back in December, and since then I've had to learn a lot about formulation. So I've developed and tested different formulas, finally settled on a final one, and then I did branding and worked on my website. And then at the beginning of last month, I started taking orders through my website. So as for traction, I did an initial run of 39 units and I sold that out in 5 weeks. And just for a note, I did run out of product and I've had issues with getting more ingredients from my supplier. So I had to stop selling a couple weeks ago, but I'm hoping to be able to get the product back in about 2 to 3 weeks. And then also in addition to that, I have over 150 email subscribers and then gone viral on TikTok a couple times. So over 2 million views total on TikTok. And so I'm just starting to get that initial customer feedback, but so far it's been overwhelmingly positive. I'll play this customer review video that someone made.
Trying Third Power Beauty shampoo cubes for the first time. You just crush it and then wash your hair like normal. I love that there's no plastic in these, paraben free, all natural, and on top of all that, it's a small business too. Wow, my hair's really long. I was surprised that one cube washed all my hair and my hair feels great and soft afterwards. Love it.
Yeah, so the next steps, my goals for the next year are to release a conditioner cube, get branded packaging, start a subscription club, and then start getting into hotels and salons. And then I want to do a whole line of products, so shampoos and conditioners for different hair types, as well as possibly body wash and face wash cubes. And then just a little bit about me. I'm a sophomore here at U of I. I'm getting a dual degree in business and creative writing, and I have about 2 years of experience selling products online. And thank you guys. Yeah.
Share a little bit about how you develop the product and your competition. So I'm a fan of the, of some travel shampoo bars, and not of others.
Yes.
Some work really well. And I'm curious about, why you chose a small cube that you have to crush which can get messy and kind of piece as opposed to having a larger bar that lathers. What can you share a little more about that process of product development and why some of those choices and how you stack up to some of the competitors?
Yeah, for sure. So when I actually started, I just wanted to start a shampoo bar business actually, which is what it started as. And then as I started talking to customers and hearing their frustrations, a lot of people don't enjoy rubbing a bar on their, I guess if you're not familiar, there are shampoo bars. It's just like a soap bar, but it's just solid shampoo. That's probably my main competitor. But yeah, most people don't really enjoy rubbing it on their heads. And also the other thing is, a lot of shampoo bars are actually made from soap, and the pH of soap is too high for your hair, so it's actually damaging. My cubes are made with real shampoo ingredients. It's just shampoo without the water. So you just crush it and you use the water in your shower. So it's less messy than the bars as well. The bars have a tendency to get moldy, and because you could just sit them out on in your shower. So yeah, that's kind of what I did.
Yeah, I just encourage you to, in your presentation, to share a little more about that and kind of the products, because I think you did a good job of like why it's good to use this because the environmental piece.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of aspects of the product versus other products I think could be highlighted.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Yeah.
If you had $10,000 of extra capital from an angel investor, what would you do to push this product out?
I'd figure out how I can scale production, because right now it's just me in my kitchen making these cubes and molds. I'd also use the money to kind of test different formulas and get the conditioner formula up faster. Probably spend some money on marketing, because right now it's just, I've gotten lucky with a few viral videos, but I haven't spent any money on marketing. And yeah, also branded packaging, because I feel like that's really important.
Would you want to do additional SKUs of the bars, like just the shampoo, and you talk about other products?
Yeah, I want to do shampoos. So this one works well for most hair types, but I do want to do ones that are specifically tailored to different hair types, right? Because we do all have different hair. So.
I have a statement and a question.
Yeah, of course.
For my statement, don't make it hard for me to see the most compelling thing about each pitch. Like when you got to how many you sold, you should have in huge letters that take up the entire slide. We have less product than demand.
Okay.
Make it really clear that people have bought so much that you're out of stuff.
Yeah.
That's what's awesome.
Awesome.
And then my question, so, obviously sustainability and whatnot is important. And, I understand cognitively shampoo bottles are hard to wash, but how much are we talking about in terms of the percentage of total plastic waste? 1%, 5%, 20%?
I can't answer for total amount of plastic waste, but I can say that bathroom plastics are significantly less recycled than plastics from other part of the home. I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up, we didn't have a recycling bin in the bathroom. I believe it's about 50% of bathroom plastics are recycled. And then once they get to the recycling plant, like I said, you can't really wash out a shampoo bottle, or it's a lot of work. So it's less recycled than other plastics. If that makes sense.
Thank you for explaining that. Obviously, I use a lot of shampoo.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, next up we have Reviva by Ayomidi, and he will be pitching virtually from Chicago. Ayomidi, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right.
You can request remote control.
Oh, okay. Let me. Let me try and make that request. Yeah, request. All right. Everyone, my name is Ayomide Oyemi. Sorry, I need to go back to the previous slide. Sorry, what happened? I can't control the screen.
Can you request for it again?
Okay.
All right, try it.
I can't.
That's okay. I'll click the slides for you.
All right. So can you go back to the previous slide, please? No, previous. Thank you very much. Once again, hi everyone. My name is Ayomide Oyemi. I'm a health information science student at UIC. We're talking about Revival. Revival is a platform that is built to digitally support elderly people to maximize the rest of their years meaningfully. Next slide. So I'm going to be talking about Miss Lakisha Jones, who is a 75-year-old widow. She feels lonely, and one of the things she would love to do is to make new friends. Another problem she has is that she's of low socioeconomic status, and she was gotten a phone by her daughter, but she has had difficulties in making use of that phone to do the things she needs to do. Next slide, please. So what is the solution we're offering? We're offering a solution that is simple, affordable, adaptive, and offers a comprehensive way to manage some of the problems that seems to come with what elderly people experience. Ms. Lakisha Jones is an hypothetical elderly person that sort of covers all the elderly people we've spoken to. And some of the problems they have are the ones Ms. Lakisha Jones has. Problems with making use of the devices they have, problems with connectivity, problems with having access to communities, and problems managing themselves when they're alone and managing their healthcare. So what we're offering is a senior-friendly interface and experience, a device that is easy to use, and all this comes with tailored tools and essential services to make the life of elderly people much easier through digital services. Next slide. So what we've done so far is we've conducted a series of interviews with elderly people, caregivers, and professionals, and the common themes which have emerged are the fact that people have problems around socialization and connection. They have difficulty in making use of existing devices that they have. For those who have devices, some do not have these devices, but for the ones who have these devices, they have difficulty in making use of these devices. They also have challenges around their care and finance management. Elderly people have different comorbidities, different illnesses that they sort of cope with, that they manage. So they have problems managing these two. And the last thing is that they have problems of access to community, friends, and people. Next slide, please. So what we're trying to offer is a simple interface and device, like I said, and which is like a tablet with a specially designed user interface to sort of make it easy for elderly people to navigate and easily make use of devices to conduct whatever activity they need to conduct, which I mentioned earlier: connectivity, health management, access to services, and staying in touch with friends and family. So this is like what the device will look like in the resting phase, like home phase. And so that on the left side are commonly used contacts. In the middle of the screen are some information on the day and every other thing they need to do. And then an icon for help and emergency, because a very significant problem with elderly people is the fact that they need to access emergency in some cases. And there have been cases where they've not been able to do that as soon as possible or easily, because of the kind of devices or tools that they have available to them. Next slide, please. So this is like what a video call would look like. Something easy to use to go back to home, easy to end the call. Next slide, please. So there's a slide missing. There's a slide skipped. Can you go back, please? Next slide, previous slide. Oh, wow. Yes. All right, go forward. There's a slide missing. Go forward. So what does the senior care market look like? The senior care market is about 832 billion globally. In the United States, it is expected to grow to 225 billion by 2024. And the other thing is that the US elderly population is projected to grow by over 50 million in the next 5 years. And the interesting thing with adults, like people always say some things about, oh, adults are not open to devices, but an interesting research that was done shows that about 150% of adults are open to buying devices for themselves or buying it through someone else. So they're actually open to making use of this. And in the last 2 or 3 years, about 60% of adults have said they've purchased a new device. Now, they are buying these devices, but the question is, how easy are they finding these devices to use, which is where we come in. Next slide, please. So this is the competition landscape. Now, one of the significant players in this landscape is GrandPad, and they basically have a tablet design with a simple to use interface. Their interface is very simple to use. They have a couple of care management tools, but one of the things they do not offer is they do not offer connectivity to communities. They also have challenges around accessibility. You can only use GrandPad by touch alone. There's no voice accessibility. Also, another accessibility issue they have is technological accessibility in the sense that the OS on GrandPad is limited to the apps they ship. If the app is not shipped by them, you can't put any other OS. You can't put third-party services. They also do not offer home care services. The other player in the market is Digital Robotics, and they offer senior-friendly interface, care management, they have accessibility options, but they are very expensive. You pay $1,499 ahead and then pay $40 monthly. Lively Smart is another one, but what they really have mostly is the fact that they're friendly, their interface is basically user-friendly, but they do not offer any of the other options that exist. LifeSpark offers basically services with no interface. So it's like a service company, but they sort of play in this arena too. And their price sort of varies. And so one of the things we're trying to do with Reviva is to offer a tool that offers all these areas, and to an extent can still beat all these prices. And the reason why I want to beat all these prices is because a lot of people who are of socioeconomic status like Mrs. Jones that we mentioned earlier cannot afford to buy some of the devices if they want to. Next slide. So one of the planned partnerships we're looking at pushing these out is Zoom. Zoom has a Zoom lab that allows you to build products on their video service. So one of the things we're trying to build, which was on the other slide that they didn't show up, is the fact that we're trying to build a couple of features that was shipped with this device. For example, we're trying to build a video-based social media for adults by which we feel they can easily converse, share tea together, and make new connections. One of the other things we're also planning to work with the Silver Bills, which is like a finance management system. It's already existing. And one of the things we're just going to do is to put it as one of the shipped applications on this device. The other one is Papa. Join Papa connects elderly people with younger people to keep them company. And this already exists, but a lot of adults can't make use of this because they do not have the requisite device to access. So we're going to work with Join Papa. The other thing we're going to do is Google Assistant, because the significant thing is that one of the things we had from some of the elderly people we spoke with was that they have problems touching the screens, making use of the screen and typing. So it will be important to have a voice feature to increase the accessibility of this to more elderly people. And another partnership we're looking at is OSF Healthcare, which is out of St. Francis. They offer care to elderly people and they work in the Illinois area. We're planning to work with them to sort of test it with the people they work with. Next slide. So who will be paying for this? Senior care organizations like OSF, family members, the seniors themselves, and Medicare. We believe that Medicare lasts because it's a much longer futuristic thing. But the thing, one of the aspects of Medicare is that there are medically prescribable devices that can be paid for Medicare. And this is where we are targeting to come in for Medicare to pay for this. Next slide. So what is the revenue model? We're looking at licensing and subscriptions. Licensing will be the fact that the interface and the platform can be licensed to third parties, especially senior care organizations, to integrate into the existing systems rather than us shipping new devices to them, to just make the use of the existing systems easier for the people they serve. And then subscriptions will be also to some of these organizations, to individuals, and then through Medicare. Next slide.
I made a quick time check. You're over time by a minute, so try to wrap up.
All right, next slide, please. That's the last slide. So this is the timeline. We're working on completing the prototype design. And then by October, we want to do a prototype test with end users. And then between November and December, we want to do a continuous iteration of the prototype and testing with more larger and diverse group of end users. Next slide. Yeah, thank you.
So first, I appreciate that you're trying to develop a product or service for elders. It's a really important market. It's underserved. But one of the things that I'm challenged by, at least with the presentation, is sort of your value proposition and who, seems like you're trying to do lots of different things, but I didn't really hear a couple of examples of the ease of the interface. But I was having challenges figuring out, like you mentioned, that social support or connecting to communities. Are those other, elders who are on the platform? You sort of mentioned partnerships, and so I can't quite figure out who your ideal customer is. Is it the seniors themselves? Is it caregivers? Is it these third-party providers who want an ease of interface with their home care services or other medical services? Can you try to explain a little more what you think your ideal customer is and how you expect to go to market?
All right, so the ideal customer in this case are the seniors themselves. The challenges I highlighted are the challenges that the seniors themselves face, especially the ones who live alone, the ones who live in care facilities. So the ideal customer for this are seniors themselves, American seniors over the age of 65 who have challenges using existing devices or challenges with connectivity and community. So the ideal customer in this case are the seniors themselves, not caregivers and not people, organizations offering care to them.
All right, thank you. I'm afraid that's all we have for questions because we did go overtime. Thank you, Ayumidi. All right, so next up we have Agrix by Ayush.
So hello everyone. My idea's name is Agrix, and the mission is to make agriculture data centric. That is to provide data to the farmers about their fields so that they understand more of what they're doing instead of just relying on their intuition and previous experiences. So a little bit about myself. I'm engineering physics sophomore here, and I'm originally from India. And the reason I'm working on agriculture is because in India, more than 60% of the economy is powered by agriculture. And I've been brought up in a way where I see agriculture as the center of everything. And if you look at things like retail or e-commerce, you can see that they have been disrupted by digital technologies, but we can't say the same for agriculture. So I've conducted more than 50 plus interviews and surveys with the farmers in the Urbana-Champaign area. And one interview which comes to mind is with Mike. He explained to me that he's actually stuck in a vicious cycle where he took money from the money lenders, invested it in buying more pesticides and fertilizer than he needs, and applied them on the field. And instead of increasing the yield, it actually decreased the yield because more fertilizers can act as poison for the plants. So he couldn't get the money back, he couldn't pay the money lenders, and now they're not lending him money for the next growing cycle. So he's not able, he's stuck in a debt trap. And then there's statements like these about fertilizers being too expensive and agriculture not being keeping up with technology, which have been recurring throughout my interviews and surveys with the farmers. In fact, this problem is so general that according to my survey, more than 65% of the farmers cite fertilizer use and price as the primary concern while they're farming, followed by pesticide use and price, and other things like price of land and trade policies as well. So the reason for that is, of course, they use their intuition and previous experience to understand how much fertilizer and pesticides they would need. There are other things like weedicides and organic manure as well, but they are much cheaper. And these take up a majority of the budget of the farmer. So if they buy more, they apply more, and that's bad both for the yield and for the environment and for their budget. So instead of intuition and previous experience, I also want to add data about the field so that they can make better predictions. So the system overview is basically sensor nodes, which would have a bunch of sensors, electrochemical, electromagnetic, and optical sensors. They basically transmit data about the physical and chemical properties of the soil to a central node, which would have edge computing enabled. It would analyze the data and give feedback to the farmers about how much fertilizers or pesticides they might need to buy and where in the field they should apply it based on the chemical composition of the soil. And we can also directly control the fertilizer being applied using actuators. So these are all the major chemical qualities of the soil and the physical ones as well. And we can measure all of them using just 3 sensors. electrochemical, electromagnetic, and optical sensors. And not only can we just tell the farmers how much they would need to buy the fertilizer and pesticide, we can actually even predict how much they would be needing in the next growing cycle, so that they can actually plan in advance about their farming. Expected cost saving for this is $10 to $20 per acre. And if you consider an average US farm of 450 acres, then you can easily see that it makes a difference between profit and loss for millions of farmers throughout the United States. So this is the competition. They are X-Farm, Microclimate, and Lentera, Africa. And I think I added a graph here. Not sure, I think it's not updated. But basically, there's a widespread competition for solving this particular problem. And all of them are using their own approaches to solving the problem. And most of them are using cloud computing approach, which basically takes the sensor data and pushes up to the cloud, where the data analysis happens and gives farmers the feedback. Unfortunately, it requires an internet connection. And unfortunately, more than 60% of the farms actually do not have an internet connection. So my idea actually uses edge computing, which is analysis right on the field. So there's no need for internet connection, and it increases accessibility for the farmers. And also, most of these systems are only for certain crop types and certain geographies, while my system is more general purpose for any crop types and climate. So far, I've been doing research on electrochemical sensors until October. Electromagnetic and optical sensors are ready. Then I will be integrating it with a software mapping system by December of 2021. Then I would be testing the system in February of 2022, and finally pilot tests in March of 2022. So I would like to end on this note that the demand for food is going to double by 2050. And if we take the current ways of expansion of agriculture, not only would it be bad for the farmers themselves, it would be catastrophic for the environment. Like things like loss of biodiversity, land degradation, or water pollution, and even climate change. All of these are bad. And I think precision agriculture techniques like Agrix can help us get there in a sustainable way. So thank you.
How do the sensors communicate to, you said say it's an edge computer? Can you explain
It's
that
basically a
concept?
microprocessor.
Yeah. How do they communicate with that microprocessor?
They wirelessly transmit the signal. There are multiple wireless technologies we can use, but the cheapest one would be Zigbee, which is just like a Wi-Fi, you can say, but a little lower bandwidth, because we don't need to send like full HD videos, we just need to send the data. So yeah, Zigbee so far. Thank you.
So your competition is significantly more than you think. For example, Precision Planting, about an hour away in Fremont. They've been working on a whole bunch of projects with a bunch of sensors all over. I do like your switch to edge computing instead of cloud-based. So what inspired specifically that edge computing?
So I was researching on it throughout the summer, and I actually had an internship at the Coordinated Science Lab, where I was actually working on edge computing devices. And that's how I got introduced to them and connected it to my other startup idea. And I found it really good fit for the thing as well, because edge computing has only become recently possible. Previously, they needed a lot of computing processing power. Now it's possible to do that, so I think why not?
Too many agronomists that you're working with?
Pardon?
Do you have any agronomists that you're working with?
So far, I have found some farmers in the Ravana Champaign area who have agreed to let me test this system on the farms. So I don't understand agronomists.
Soil scientists. Soil scientists.
Soil scientists, no, not yet. I'm talking to a few researchers at the Illinois Autonomous Farm. They are working on digital agriculture, but not soil science.
You were talking about the technology, you mentioned that in addition to using the edge technology instead of cloud, so that your sensors also can be deployed in multiple geographies or locations compared to others that are not. Can you explain what about it allows you to do that?
Yeah, because currently most of the competition is primarily focused on electromagnetic sensors, because they are the cheapest. And almost none of them are using electrochemical sensors because they are relatively new and expensive. And with electromagnetic sensors, you're only able to find out the physical properties of the soil and only a few chemical ones. With electrochemical ones, you can actually understand the chemical composition of the soil. And that is the key to generalizing it to any field, not just particular crop types or geographies.
Have you ridden in a combine harvest and watched the number of bushels come in and monitor the different areas? This area is good return, this area is low. You should do that and think about how you're going to integrate with that data. There's an extra seed in almost every big combine now, so there's a spot to ride along.
Yeah, I'm also putting GPS system on each of the sensors nodes, so I would be able to map the whole field with the GPS coordinates and understand where the chemical composition and how much is it. So yeah, we can integrate that as well.
All right. Thank you, judges. Great job. All right, so we have two last very exciting pitches from our venture directors. Following that is a quick award ceremony, and then we'll serve dinner, as I'm sure all of you are hungry. So next up, we have Dinjadu by Snehal and Anit. And Anit will be pitching virtually. Anit, are you there?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yep.
All right, great.
Like remote control.
Yes, let me try that.
All right, try that.
Okay, yes, that does work. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So imagine it's 2014. There is a student in India who is just about to make it to 7th grade. And suddenly his family is moving to Thailand. And he's surrounded by fresh faces, all of whom speak the same language as him, English. But something's not quite right. You see, he doesn't understand them and they don't understand him. There is a difference in pronunciation. He can't come across to them and he feels completely alone. He cannot communicate with them and he's isolated and he feels for the first time in his life, anxiety. He's smart, he tries a lot of things. He downloads apps on his phones, he tries talking to people, but it's all ineffective because either they give him ineffective explanations of the anatomy or they don't give him actual feedback on what he's speaking. And the thing is, he's not alone. There are millions of people across the world who talk in other languages and they learn other languages, but they cannot speak like a native speaker. And pronunciation is incredibly hard to learn. But worry not, Dinjadu to the rescue. Dinjadu is a startup that is dedicated to building an app to help users learn pronunciation. The way it works is we want to break down pronunciation to its building blocks, the basic sounds called phonemes, and we want to help users learn these phonemes first. We know it works because we've talked to several domain experts and we've researched and with the ASHA, which is the American Speaking Language and Hearing Association. And we know that this method works. And you see, the product is centered around feedback. It's centered around giving the users an understanding of what they're talking about and helping them realize how to improve. And really, this is all it's about, right? Feedback plus understanding is success. We want the users to be able to record themselves, and after recording themselves, listen to what they're saying and also get feedback on what they've said and how to improve. So who will use it anyways? We have talked to several people. We've done 35 plus interviews, and we've realized that first-year East Asian international students are the prime target for this product. They also, like that 7th grader, feel shy, anxious, confused. And it's a big community. There are 373,000 East Asian students in the United States, and it's growing as well. We know that in 2020, there were 15,000 additional students in the United States. So where do we go from here? Well, we're in the process of developing the MVP, and we hope by December 2021, we can get the community testing phase out. And from there, we want to get feedback until March 2022, after which we want to do a complete launch of our MVP and give it to the rest of the community. From August 2022, we want to add 3 languages that we can have more international support. And from there, we want to add other features such as a visual component and a social networking component. And here's a secret. That 7th grader, that was me. I felt anxious and isolated and alone. And I don't want anybody else to feel like that. And Dinjadu, we all have a vision. Our vision is to break down the barriers of communication that divide people. And we're ready to make it a reality. Question is, are you? And we're also open to questions now.
And I am also like a part of the change you guys as administrator. So if you can answer questions too.
So could you share a little more about the competition in the language learning space and what other competitors are doing in terms of pronunciation assistance and why is this product?
Yeah, sure. Yep, I think I have to go talk about that. So there are actually like some other apps. Our actually competition would be like so there's ours like so there are actually like some apps which do like pronunciations. There's like a Duolingo, there's Elsa Speaks, various other apps. But the issue is that so like all they do is like so they do kind of you can like do like pronunciation, but they don't actually tell you like where you're actually making a mistake. Let's say one like if disagrees with them. And then there's also other options, for example, talking to like accent modification experts, which could be too like expensive to like inaccessible. And third thing is I mean like yes, you can also ask like native speakers too, but they that may be not be practical for some people because some people do not have access to those native speakers. And also if you also ask like native speakers, many people tend to say repeat after me. And we'll explain that way, but like many times like that is actually not the most optimal way to explain pronunciations.
How far along are you in the development of this the app?
Yeah, so we have actually started to build the proof of concept. So but we are some more choosing 2 target phonemes or 2 target consonants. So for example, maybe like the B and P sounds. So more say if someone like mispronounced the P sound as a B sound, could help correct that. And we do also plan on like improving the accuracy of the and then also adding more consonants too.
Yeah, we're sorry. Go.
No, I was just saying you mentioned that people would record themselves and then get feedback. So is that do I just decide, hey, I realize that people seem to have trouble understanding me when I'm saying certain words, so I decide to like use the app to do that, or is it some more natural interaction that you're having with the app and then it's automatically recording that and then giving you feedback, like from a user perspective, like how are you actually using it in practice? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, actually yes. I think we see like a review question on stake.
What would you do?
Yeah. Or I think I run it.
So you mentioned that people record themselves in the app and they can get feedback, right, on their pronunciation, on the phonemes. And so what I'm wondering is, as a user, do I just like, what do I decide to speak into the app to be like, oh, I know that I'm having trouble with people understanding me when I'm talking about X, Y, Z, and so I decide to do that, or is it a more natural thing that you're having people read a story or something that you're already like a task that you're asking them to do in the app?
So I can answer that question for you. What we want to have, so the way it's going to work is for each language that the user wants to learn about and the pronunciation that the user wants to learn about, they will be presented with a list for now, a list of phonemes, right? And they can select a phoneme that they want to improve upon, and then they'll be asked to repeat the phoneme thrice, right? And based upon that, the recording that the app will take, it will then analyze it and then measure its accuracy and also give feedback on what they could do. So for example, if while pronouncing P, they're not expelling enough air, right? If they're not aspirating it enough, the app would recognize that based on the analytics on the back end, and it would tell the user, hey, try aspirating that a little bit. And then the user would go back, try that again, record themselves again, and then the app would again measure their accuracy. So that's really how we're planning on getting the user to learn with this app.
Yeah, and so to also answer the question too, it's also become more natural. So for now, it's more like, okay, I do have this one content that I do have trouble pronouncing. The first has a more plan on targeting the ads and more on the technical side, but then we do hope like eventually, as we keep building the app, it could also be just like normal like the forms of speech, or it could be normal so more like actual conversations.
So now, so starting off, it's really self-identified and very intentionally. I know that I have problems with these particular phonemes.
Yeah, that is correct.
Great. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Sahel and Annette. And
thank you.
Okay, last but not least, we have Vedant with Chakra.
Thanks, Peter. Hi, I'm Ved, a freshman and the founder of Chakra. Every once in a while, humanity adapts. We improvise, we build, and that's why we survive. How many of you are from Chicago? Well, 2 weeks ago, 160,000 people went without electricity. Power outage in Chicago, wildfires in California, winters in Texas and Katrina. What do all of these have in common? There was not enough energy storage, and that's why we had widespread power outages. It's time we adapt, and that's where Chakra comes in. We want to build extremely low cost backup batteries for homeowners. Well, over the summer, I conducted 25 plus interviews. I came across one major broad problem. Wait, I'm concerned. I really need batteries, but they're so expensive. Well, I dug a little deeper. Why are they so expensive? Well, batteries only contribute to 30% of the actual cost. 70% of the cost goes to secondary technologies like sensors and installation. And lithium batteries, they're so expensive, they die too soon, and most importantly, they're not environmental friendly. That's why today, I want to change battery technology. We're going to use flywheels, which means having a huge metal disc spinning at really high speeds to store energy in the kinetic form. This way we can reduce our cost, and the secondary cost all my interviewees complained about, we're getting rid of that. In comparison, right now we have Tesla's Powerwall and EcoFlow, which are pretty expensive to install and have a lifespan of about 7 to 8 years. We also have LG's cheaper alternatives, which have poor lifespan. And newer technologies like our very own Natrion are extremely good and really cost competitive, but they're still under production and have the same 8-year lifespan. On the other hand, flywheels historically are known to have 15 to 20 years of life, and we believe we can make it cheaper than lithium-ion batteries. And here's why. It's already been done. NASA's built flywheels for their spaceships, and Amber Kinetics builds flywheels for buildings. We're going to take their amazing technology and design it for your homes. Just imagine a nice little spaceship battery in your backyard. For designing for smaller applications, we have less technical challenges, and that's how we can make it cheaper. We use hemp composites instead of carbon fiber, which cuts down the cost by more than 30%. And while NASA targets extremely efficient batteries, we're targeting extremely low cost batteries. So we're trading off their magnetic bearings for our ball bearings, which are 1/3 the cost. Right now, this is something the Department of Energy supports. Every year, they're investing $10 billion to support ideas like mine. And I hope to capitalize on that. And the flywheel revenue is huge. The market made 300 million in revenue in the COVID year of 2020. And the whole global energy storage market, 88.5 billion market evaluation, and it's expected to grow 5 times in the next 10 years. Right now, I'm just completing my ideation stage with Zero2One, and I hope to get into MVP development. And by Jan, I want to start testing my MVP. Hopefully by May, I want to use accelerator programs like iVenture and COSAD to take my idea forward and launch it by 2023. What's next? Well, I'm looking at opportunities to develop my MVP on campus and develop a team with social fuse. I'm also reaching out to professors to finalize the design of my product. And here's my ask. I need your help to form a team. And also with the $500 if I win today, I want to incorporate so I can apply for SBIR grants. Thank you.
There are a lot of people, who've been working on this problem a long time in terms of cost-effective storage. What competitive advantage technology-wise do you have, or are you just hoping you can find one?
I'm sorry, could you repeat your question?
Do you have some technical innovation that has allowed you to accomplish
So,
this better than everybody else you showed up there?
So right now, I feel like with the new materials like the hemp composites that have been developed, they can significantly reduce the cost for 2 reasons. Hemp composites themselves are cheaper than carbon fiber. And right now, the reason flywheels are so expensive is because you need to put really, really huge safety casings around them. But the good thing about hemp composites is under stressful conditions, they never shatter like carbon fiber. They only crack. So that way you can have a much thinner safety casing. It's still safe and you can cut down on cost significantly. So to summarize, with newer materials, we think we can cut down on costs.
What are some of the, you're at a very early stage of your research, right? So you're really looking at other things that are out there, looking at price points. What are your biggest anticipated technical challenges in trying to convert NASA's, flywheel technology to, the backyard home version?
So the biggest challenges, one would be, just scaling it down, because it's not as simple as just like multiplying everything by 0.5x. You would have problems with you need to obviously, since it's a new material, you need to analyze how strong it is, what kind of loads it can take. And apart from that, it's going to be like, how do you get safety approvals? Because if you want to put a product at home, you need to have a lot of safety approvals. So how do you do all the testing for that and get those approvals? So those are kind of since my main point of making it cheaper is newer materials, so that's kind of my main area I can see where I can approach a lot of difficulties.
So I would say the exact same thing that I told Matreon 3 times they've been one of my students. You're going to need a heck of a lot of money. Heck of a lot more than iVenture, COSAD, et cetera, can throw at you. You mentioned SBIR grants. Anyone else on the team, are you a U.S. citizen?
No. So,
Okay. So
that
sounds like you know about that block.
Yeah, so SBI, I realized that you need to be at least like half the team needs to be American to apply for SBI contract. So that is something I need to look into. So.
All right. That was our last pitch.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, that concludes our pitches for today. Before we can pass out dinner, we have 5 minutes for the judges to deliberate one winner for the 2 groups that pitched. So in the meantime, you can stand up and stretch. You can talk to each other, and we'll call everyone back in 5 minutes for the award ceremony.
But this is the first time. Doing all this. I can see. Oh, yeah. Yeah. How are you doing? Well, I got my gloss on. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we should have best coach. So, I just got to meet him. Yeah, I'm probably I say refresh this like.
Wait, where that works?
It's right there. I mean, the awards itself, the paper,
Don't
it's
show
right
it.
there. Oh wait, yeah, it's.
Oh, you just refresh it.
Yeah, I need to refresh.
Hello.
It's right here, but we just need to write names. Like, we need to write names.
Hello. 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 Hi.
Yeah, I'll get the winners.
Okay. Yours are loud for 5 seconds. What? Did the other church just? I think so. Just left. I think that will happen. They said we were gonna message him.
So big.
What?
Like,
This?
so like narrow.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
That's how you usually message. But you open it for
Whatever. Whatever I feel like.
So like writing the winner on the spot.
Right. This is how people do it in actual competitions. Do you have it? Do you have it?
Huh?
Do you have
No,
it?
they're almost done.
What was the other judge?
The first one is oval and the second same thing. Okay.
What? Oh, okay. I was like, first one's sponsored by Oval and the second one's. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is how I go. I'm gonna say, welcome back. This is like our serve. I would like to thank everyone who came, everyone who pitched, and then I would like to thank the judges, and then also thank sponsors. And then after that, be able to describe like briefly two words. So that sounds good. Yeah, I'm gonna ask like judges to come up.
Does he not know about the judging at all?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
Brian
left
Levy.
long, long ago.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, Elizabeth, not Third Power Beauty, Elizabeth Shaluga.
Okay, how about oh, that one.
Galati.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Anything to everyone back? Dude, is this
Sure.
light supposed to be? Yep. Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah, just go to the back.
Right
Can,
outside.
can I double check the name of the first one? First one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not. This is.
Yeah, we can't edit it anymore. We'll just say go to the back.
Sure.
We can't edit it anymore. We can put a text box over it if you want.
You
It's
do
fine.
that?
I'll just explain. Yeah. Tell all the VDs because you don't know either to grab a pizza and go outside because you're gonna explain. You're gonna do an
Yep,
editing
yep,
session.
I will.
Yeah. Huh?
We're good?
We're good.
Okay, wait, hold on.
No, we need to share it.
Oh.
Because you need to use this. Right. Yeah, I got it. Wait, I need to share this. Good. Hey guys, please have a seat. All right, guys, welcome back. And it's time for a word ceremony. First off, I would like to thank you guys for coming out. We planned this event for a very long time, and then it couldn't be successful without you guys. And also, I would like to thank whoever pitched, for also VCs, whoever's online or whoever's here. And I would love to thank judges as well. Thank you so much for coming out. So we have two groups. First one will be called Young Innovator Award for our summer 21 VDs. And the second award is called Experienced Founder Awards, which is for our experienced founders or our VCs. And yeah, we'll be announcing that right now. And I would like our judges to present the awards. And please come up and then announce the award, please.
We've elected a spokesperson here, so.
So going first, we'll be announcing our Young Innovator Award first.
Yeah, well, first we do want to say that that we really appreciated all the work that everybody's doing, and we know a lot of us have had multiple interactions with different teams, and it's really been delightful to see how far you've come and how you've integrated feedback over time. And the other thing I want to say before, I know you just wonder who the winner is, but the other thing that I think is really, really important is that we really want to encourage a lot of these founding teams to continue. And so just because you didn't happen to win this particular award for this pitch competition, that really does not reflect whether or not we think you should continue with the venture, and use the resources in the ecosystem. If you want to know more about that, talk to any of us, talk to the Zero2One team. They can direct you to some of these other campus resources. So we just want to say that. So thank you for all of your great work on a lot of hard problems. Okay, so the Young Innovator Award.
Sponsored by Obel for $500.
Okay, so it's Third Power Beauty.
So due to the COVID issues, we don't have a physical copy, but we'll be giving
We'll give the money to you.
Yes, exactly.
Can we get a legit picture with the judges?
Yeah, what's you?
Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you.
The next one, we've got our Experienced Founder Award. Again, some really fantastic teams.
Sponsored by Singleton Law Firm for $500.
Or do you want to say?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so Nasadia.
Thank you, Paul.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.
Okay, so now is time for dinner and also networking. All the people who pitched have a board outside with their venture on it, and they'll be standing next to it. If you want to talk to them, ask questions, grab your pizza, walk outside, and go talk to whoever you want. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for sponsoring. And this is yeah, yeah.
So did they have a process before they?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
everything in person. And we're starting to, like, share this out.
Okay, that's good to know.
Definitely not in person. Not currently not. No, I think it also helps us. Just how we sort of do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
At least a couple of us had some ongoing years. So whether that's for some, it's kind of process of I don't know what to do. There were mechanisms. I think like clearly ready. So a lot of states. Interesting. Yeah, they have that. So they always have systems. We all felt confident ultimately. I think everybody felt good about it. But they are, so I think it's really important that this was a good thing. We had a good balance. But that's something I think, again, I was just thinking too, sort of like, it's sort of like apples and oranges. I mean, we're really trying to value this shit. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like all those things in our mind. Some balance with that. But anyway, so like that. But again, I love the team. But it was just kind of played out. Like, it's totally that stuff happening, and so you may want to And then it says. So I really think that they are. But I think, they got. Even if they had those things.
Yeah.
So you'll have to think about later. Like, as you guys grow, you know, when you're giving instructions, like, what do they think they're valuable? Like, are they automatic something like, okay, so we have as a much higher making tons of money? You know, like, we're sort of or the need or different things. Again, it's really personal. I think we're all yeah, and I know you guys have this stuff, but I think it's a thing to ponder. I don't have I think it's something we're all trying to figure out, which is one of the reasons why I started impact because I'm all